YouTube, what is going on, guys? We got another haircut tutorial for you, and this guy may look familiar. This was like my first, I cut his hair from like my first actual video that popped, like that did numbers. I think the first video I did with him is at like 2 million views, and so that was like 4 or 5 years ago, guys. So here we are, we're coming back. We're doing a 5.5 on top, and we're doing pretty much the same cut. It's just 5 years later. Let's see if the cut came out better. What you think, like if I've improved. And I'll leave the link in the description for the first video that we did with him. But let's go ahead and go through the process, man. We're balding him out, right? We're using the Skeleton FXs by Blurriest to do so, getting it as tight and close as possible to allow us to use the shaver without creating too many lines, or making it harder for us to create a nice gradient fade. So we're gonna do this all the way around, make sure it's nice and it's even on both sides. And once we've done that and we pass the shaver, that's when we begin the fade process. Phone going off. All right, and I'm using the Blurriest shavers. Phone is going off. All right, next step is my blade all the way open, and you can see, because we're gonna do like a mid to high fade, we got room. So I'm gonna go up about 1 inch, and I'm gonna take my time making sure that this section is nice and blended before we move on. And so if you notice, my clipper is all the way closed, the lever is all the way up, therefore it's all the way closed, and we're gonna open it little by little until it's completely blended. And I probably open the clipper maybe 2 or 3 times before it typically gets blended. Now with his texture of hair, because it's super thick, it takes a little time to create a nice gradient blend, because even the clipper all the way closed looks a little darker than normal, leaves a little bit of, and that's because, again, his hair is thick, it's super dense, like there's so much hair, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, hopefully that's making sense. So anyways, I'm using my trimmers now to go ahead and take out whatever's left of that initial guideline, and it's with this texture of hair, you typically always have to do that. Whereas other textures of hair, I could just use my clipper closed and it's a done deal. All right, so at this point, I'm using my #1 guard all the way open. You can follow along in the color guide on the bottom left corner. And once we've done that, we'll go ahead and start to blend out this section. I gotta tell you guys, it feels good to be back at Headlines. See my dog in the background, Nate, NG Cuts. All right, at this point, we're using our half guard. Start off open, close it as needed. And again, because his hair is so thick, we might have to go back to that blade open to create more of a fade, of a transition. And that's okay. You know, you have to adjust depending on that specific client and texture. The system stays the same, but the detailing portion, that's where you gotta make it, you gotta tailor the cut to your client.
Tito, let's get it.
All right, so here I switched to my wall guard, or my wall clipper, because it has the Filthy Blends mod, and so it opens up more. And so I like to use that to detail a little bit, especially between the one open section and the blade open section, right in that sweet spot. I really like to use this clipper to go ahead and detail and create more of a transition. You can see I'm using a lot of corners, and I'm closing it as needed until it's blended to my desire. All right, at this point, we're using, I believe this is number 2 all the way open. Number 2 all the way closed. And now we're using the 1.5 guard to go ahead and start to blend this section. Now, it stayed a lot darker than it normally would on somebody who has, thinner hair, finer hair. And so we're definitely going back to that number 1 guard, and we're closing it as needed until we can get this area the way it needs to look. But that 1.5 guard close didn't blend that section out. And that's what happens when you have clients with thick hair. And that's why it's so important, man, to really spend time detailing, man. It's been a while. I will say it's been a while since I cut his hair. But I'm happy I got a chance to cut it again. All right, and we're repeating the same steps on this side that we did on the other. You can see at this point I got my 1.5 guard, and it's almost all the way closed. Yeah, it's closed all the way now, and it's still leaving it dark. Like it's creating a transition. It's blending a little bit, but it's still dark in that area, and that's not good enough for me. So we're going back to my 1 guard. At this point, it's like halfway open to do the rest of the job. And look how much better it's already starting to come out. What? Then we line it up. Then we spend our time detailing it. That's how we get it to the next level, guys. So let's start lining him up. We're not gonna push him back. We're gonna try to leave it natural as possible and tailor the fade to his natural hairline. I swear I love this beat. Shout out to my cousin Tito. And I wanna make this lineup as full and sharp as possible. So like I'm not gonna just tap at at the fringe area. Like this isn't necessarily hairline. If there's like gaps and you can see scalp underneath his hairline, by just going up just a tad bit higher, you can eliminate that, make the hairline look fuller, as you can see here, without bringing it up too high. All right, let's go ahead and start to clean up his beard, and we'll go back and detail the fade a little bit more. At this point in my career, man, my haircut appointments are an hour. I take an hour. If it's a YouTube cut, it's free. If it's just a haircut, it's not a YouTube cut because you've already been on my YouTube channel 55,000 times. But you still want a haircut, then it's $100. But I'm gonna give you an hour of the best I can give. And there's a lot of people that are like borderline offended by this business model. But hey, my business model ain't for everybody. As long as my clients are happy and I'm happy, that's what matters. There's so many other great barbers out there that people can visit, you know, and get their hair cut that are better than me. You know what I'm saying? And just don't use your negative energy on me, alright? Just go get your hair cut by one of them dope barbers out there. And if you one of those dope barbers, man, and you want to raise your prices, don't be afraid to, man. Don't be scared to. And if you need a little bit of confidence and stuff, join the academy, where we have some amazing content that discusses how to raise your prices, what it was like, sharing experiences at different levels from 14 to 25, 25 to 50, and that way you can build up your confidence. The academy is always linked in the description below. All right, so with his beard, man, we were just trying to keep it as natural and wide, like not wide, but like we wanted to keep it high on the cheeks. You know, keeping it looking as full as possible, where you can see his beard on like the top of his line. It gets a little light, but either way, we're not gonna bring it down. We're not gonna bring his beard down to try to make it look sharper. We'll use the razor to get it as sharp as possible, to get the shape nice and right, and let it fill in when it grows back out. You know, because customers will do their own beard in between. I'm not saying that he did. I don't know if he did, but they might. All right. So you can see I'm using the shave gel, and I'm actually getting it on his hair because I want it to help lay that hairline down, and then we'll start the razor work. But watch how the razor just brings this cut to the next level. And if you're trying to cop one of these triple cartridge razors at tomb45.com, I believe they're out of stock, but they're going to be back in stock any day now. So keep checking back on the website. Look at the difference, guys. Look at the beard line. There's no color here. It is just razor work. So with the trimmer, it looked like, damn, I'm probably going to have to bring it down on the beard to get it sharper. But because the trimmer don't get as close as a razor, regardless of what anybody tries to tell you, it just don't. And by me leaving it natural and then following up with the razor, look, we were able to accomplish this look. Why he was making that face? Dude, why he was making that face? Yo, look how blurry the blend is looking with the lineup though. And guys, please don't take my excitement for arrogance or cockiness. I genuinely love the art of barbering, and it gets me excited. You know, when you're passionate about something that you do, like that's how you be reacting. Like, yo, look at that. Look at that lineup. Look at the curvature. Look how full and clean the beard's coming out. It's fire. I love it, man. I love barbering. All right, and then I'm using the foil shaver to do a lot of the bulk shaving as opposed to the razor, especially in difficult areas. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna enhance it. You guys seen the cut. I don't need to show you the cut before the enhancement. You already saw it was butter. It was a nice cut. But we want to get it to the next, man. We trying to make this guy leaving the shop, even if it's for a day or 2 or 3 days. We want him to feel for those few days like $1 million. The same way you go to a restaurant and you spend $200 on a steak and the experience, because it makes you feel good and you're taking your date out. That's what this cut will do for a man for a few days. Look at the before and the after. Guys, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're dropping content all the time, vlogs, cuts, everything that got to do with barbering, entrepreneurship, and being more successful in life as an entrepreneur. Guys, let me know what you thought about the cut in the comments below.